Skillshare. Watch it till the end. Seriously.
What do you get if you cross a keyboard, a guitar, a famous harmonica manufacturer, and a German engineer? One of the funkiest instruments of the 20th century. The clavinet. Ernst Zacharias was born in the small and presumably not very funky town of Neumünster, Germany in 1924. Growing up in a musical family that was also interested in technology, Ernst perhaps inevitably started his own experiments from a young age. And in his 20s, he built his first valve organ and studied electrical engineering. Zacharias befriended another instrument designer, Siegfried Mager, whose late father, Mager, was also a pioneering electronic instrument designer. The pair took a trip south to Trossingen and visited the Hohner factory. The company had already been in business for the best part of a century by this point and had built up a musical empire designing and selling acoustic instruments such as harmonicas, accordions, and melodicas. By the 1950s, their attention was starting to move towards new amplified electrical instruments, and having kept in touch with Ernst after his fateful factory visit, they offered him a job in 1954. The first instrument Ernst designed for Hohner was the pianet and the cymbalet, both of which paved the way for Zacharias' 1964 masterpiece, the clavinet. The clavinet is, broadly speaking, an electric clavichord, an instrument that dated right back to the Middle Ages. And whilst there was some expectations that players would look Bach at the old repertoire, Hohner expected the clav to be used in modern music, and this was realized when it started to crop up in recordings in the late 60s. Internally, the clav contains strings that are struck by a rubber hammer that effectively fret them against a metal anvil when depressed. This isn't the only similarity to a guitar, because the acoustic string sounds are then converted to electrical current via electromagnetic pickups. The strings are also dampened internally by a weave of yarn. The clavinet went through various versions and improvements, starting at the clavinet 1, then 2, clavinet C, L, D6, and E7. Whilst that riff, you know the one, played by Stevie Wonder, was performed on a clavinet C, it's arguably the 1971 D6 that was the most famous of the models. This refined model introduced a dual pickup design and manual mute control. And talking of Stevie, you just can't say clavinet without mentioning him, as he's probably the person most synonymous with the instrument. But it wasn't just a one-hit wonder. The clav was famously used by the Commodores, Bob Marley, Earth, Wind and Fire, Barry White, just to mention a few. As polyphonic synthesizers appeared and music styles changed, the clavinet was discontinued in the early 80s. Just under 40,000 units were produced by Hohner over the decade and a half that it was sold, so it was a fairly modest success compared to instruments like the Fender Rhodes. But it certainly made its mark in shaping the sound of popular music, and it has a cult following to this day. Keeping a clavinet going requires maintenance and more mechanical servicing than electrical. But keep them going, people certainly do. And for that, we can be grateful. Wouldn't it be great to learn video editing? Yeah, creative writing. Or photography. Yeah, wouldn't it be great to learn how to play keyboards? would be great, and it is great! How? With Skillshare! Skillshare, 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 Skillshare! It's an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes. That's right! Classes for creatives and curious people. Exactly! Illustration, graphic design, video, music. Skillshare is a great place to explore your creativity. My favorite class was Advanced Video Editing with Adobe Premiere Pro by Jordi Vanderput. You know, I'm pretty good with Premiere Pro, but I really learned a lot from this class, and there are so many more like this, all for less than $10 a month. Wait for it. The first 1,000 of you to click the link below will get 2 months of Skillshare Premium free. Click on the link below, and when you join Skillshare, you support this channel. Thank you. Dr. Mix.